Hi everybody, hope all of you are well. Today I will discuss the solution chapter, the last portion, the last colligative property, that is the osmosis. Now all of you know about osmosis, the process of spontaneous flow of solvent molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane is called osmosis. So in case of osmosis, only solvent will go or will pass through the semi-permeable membrane. Now semi-permeable membranes may be two types. One is natural membrane, another is chemical membrane. Okay. Now vegetable and animal membranes are natural semi-permeable membranes, while the freshly precipitate of inorganic substances like silicates of iron, copper, ferrocyanide, etc. are the artificial or chemical semi-permeable membrane. Next we will discuss the difference between diffusion and osmosis. So one is diffusion, another is osmosis. Difference. First of all, in case of diffusion, it takes place directly and no semi-permeable membrane is needed. So here no semi-permeable membrane is required. But here semi-permeable membrane is required. Okay. Next point, we can tell that molecules moves from a region of higher concentration to lower concentration. Here molecules will move from higher concentration to lower concentration. But in case of osmosis, molecules of solvent moves from a region of lower concentration to higher concentration. So here solvent molecules will move from lower concentration to higher concentration. Okay. Next point, we can tell both solute and solvent molecules can move in case of diffusion, but in case of osmosis only the solvent molecules will move. Okay. Now what is the example of diffusion? The common example is gas, as well as in case of liquid also, but in case of osmosis it is restricted only for solution. Next we can prevent osmosis. Okay. It can be prevented by applying pressure. That pressure is called osmotic pressure. But in case of diffusion, it cannot be prevented by applying pressure. So in this way, you have to remember the difference between diffusion and osmosis. Next, we will discuss the osmotic pressure. The pressure exerted on the higher concentration solution side to prevent the flow of solvent through semi-permeable membrane is called osmotic pressure of the solution. Now osmotic pressure can be calculated by Bartley and Hartley's method, and this is the best method that you can read from book. Okay, it is not in your syllabus. Next we will go to the laws of osmotic pressure. That is very important. First law is Boyle-Van't Hoff's law. Boyle-Van't Hoff's law. In this law, the temperature remains constant and the osmotic pressure is denoted by pi of a dilute solution is directly proportional to the concentration of the solution. So here pi osmotic pressure is proportional to C at constant temperature. Okay. Now from here we can write that pi by C is equal to constant. So from here we can write that C concentration, that C is equal to 1 by V. So from here we can write that pi is proportional to 1 by V. So from here we can write that pi v is equal to constant. Okay, and pi v is equal to constant at constant temperature. Next we will discuss another law that is called Charles Van't-Hoff law. In Charles Van't-Hoff law, this is the effect of temperature on osmotic pressure. Concentration remaining constant, the osmotic pressure of a dilute solution is directly proportional to absolute temperature. So here concentration is constant. So here pi is proportional to T when concentration is fixed, C is constant. So from here we can write that pi by T is equal to constant. Now we will discuss the Van't-Hoff theory of dilute solution. That is the simultaneous effect of concentration and temperature on osmotic pressure. So in one law we get pi is proportional to C, okay, when temperature is constant, and another we got that pi is proportional to T when C is constant. So by combining these two we can write pi is proportional to Ct. So from here we can write that pi is equal to some constant Rct. Okay. Now since C is equal to N by V. N by V means number of moles per unit volume. So from here we can write that pi is equal to N by V RT, or pi v is equal to nRT. Okay, and here R is the proportionality constant, and experimentally we found that these are R is nothing but gas constant. Okay, and its value is 0.082 liter atmosphere per degree per mole, and it signifies that gas constant, like the equation, gas equation, that PV is equal to nRT. Okay, now this pi v is equal to nRT equation is generally known as Van't-Hoff equation and holds strictly for dilute solution. Okay, next we will discuss the determination of molecular weight of or molecular mass of solute. Okay, so next is the determination of molar mass of solute for osmotic pressure. So we know that pi is equal to CRT. Okay, now here we can write that N by VRT, pi is equal to N by VRT. Okay, now when N is the number of moles of solute, this is the N is the number of moles of solute dissolved in V liter solution. Okay, now what is N? N, how to find out the N? N will be equal to WB divided by the MB. What is WB? WB is the weight of solute of B. That is the weight of solute B. And what is MB? That is the molar mass of solute B. Molar mass of solute B. So if we put this value here, we are getting that pi is equal to that W B by MB into RT by V. Now from here we can write that MB, that is the molar mass of solute, WB divided by pi into RT by V. So if we know the value of WB, T, V and pi, we can easily calculate the MB. What is MB? That is the molar mass of the solute. Okay. Next we will discuss some important terms from this osmosis. Okay. First one is the isotonic solution. Isotonic solution means solution having the same molar concentration will have the same osmotic pressure. A pair of solution with the same osmotic pressure do not involve any flow of solvent molecules through a semi-permeable membrane and are called isotonic or isoosmotic solution. Next one is the hypotonic and hypertonic solution. In case of hypotonic solution, if one solution is lower osmotic pressure, okay, of lower molar mass concentration, then it is called hypotonic with respect to the more concentrated solution, and the more concentrated solution having higher value of the osmotic pressure is said to be the hypertonic with respect to the less concentrated solution. Now, what is reverse osmosis? Reverse osmosis is a osmosis process when pressure higher than the osmotic pressure is applied to the solution, the solvent from the solution start flowing towards the pure solvent. And this process is called reverse osmosis. Suppose in a container there is the seawater solution. So, and if we use some semi-permeable membrane and apply pressure, then the solvent molecules, means pure water, will go to the another container. Okay, then this process is called reverse osmosis, and this process is used to get the pure water from seawater. In your book there is diagram. Okay, you will check the book, and if you cannot understand, okay, then again I will discuss, okay, on your request. So this is the reverse osmosis process, and by this reverse osmosis process we can easily prepare pure water from seawater. Next we will discuss the abnormal molar masses. Abnormal molar masses or Van 't Hoff factor I. Now, when a solution undergoes dissociation or association, the number of solute particles changes into solution as a result of colligative properties of the solution also changes. Therefore, to get the exact value of the colligative properties of solution in which the solute undergoes dissociation or association, Van 't Hoff proposed a factor known as Van 't Hoff factor and can be calculated as I is equal to the theoretical molar mass, divided by the experimental molar mass. Now, as molar mass of solution is inversely proportional to the colligative property, so here we can write another way, that I is equal to experimental value of colligative property. Experimental value of colligative properties divided by the theoretical value of colligative properties. Okay. Now, in case of association, the magnitude of experimental mass is greater than theoretical mass. So here I value is less than 1. But in case of dissociation, the magnitude of the experimental mass is less than the theoretical molar mass. So the factor I has value more than 1. Okay. So in case of association, I is less than 1, and in case of dissociation, I value will be more than 1. So in case of solutes which neither undergo dissociation or association, okay, then the magnitude of experimental molar mass is equal to the theoretical mass. So here I value will be 1. Now Van 't Hoff factor modifies the equation of the colligative properties. So we know that the equation for the elevation of boiling point, that is delta TV. Here we will write that I into kVm. Okay. So this is the Van 't Hoff factor modifies equation of colligative properties. In case of freezing point depression, we will write delta TF is equal to I into Kf into m. Now in case of osmotic pressure, we will write pi is equal to ICRT. Okay. Now in case of relative lowering of vapor pressure, then we will write PA0 minus PA divided by PA0 is equal to I into X2. Okay. In this way we will modify this. Next we will discuss the degree of dissociation alpha. Okay. If solute undergo dissociation, then degree of dissociation alpha is equal to, that value you have to remember, derivation is not in your syllabus. Okay, that alpha is equal to I minus 1 into m minus 1. Okay, now what is alpha? Alpha is equal to the degree of dissociation. Degree of dissociation. And what is the value I? I is the Van 't Hoff factor. Van 't Hoff factor. And next one is the m. M is the number of dissociated particles. Number of dissociated particles. Suppose if we think about any salt, AlCl3. In case of AlCl3, there will be 4 ions, so here m value will be 4. If we take magnesium chloride, so after division there will be 3 ions, so here m value will be 3. In case of NaCl, the value of m will be 2, as there will be formation of 2 ions. Okay. Next we will discuss in case of association. Okay, in case of association, the value of alpha you have to remember, that will be equal to I minus 1 divided by 1 by n minus 1, or we can write that this alpha dot is equal to 1 minus I and 1 minus 1 by n. Okay, any one form you have to remember. Now what is alpha dot? Alpha dot is the degree of association. Degree of association. Okay, and I is the Van 't Hoff factor. Now if we think about n is the number of associated molecules. Suppose if we think about the benzoic acid, so another molecule will combine through hydrogen bonding. So here 2 molecules are associated. Okay, so hope you can understand. So in this way I have completed the theory part, okay, of your the solution chapter. Next day I will discuss some numericals, okay, on these colligative properties, okay, as well as Van 't Hoff factors. In your exams, numericals are coming from these colligative properties as well as Van 't Hoff factors. So today up to this, thank you.